Hey there, yogis, and welcome along. It's Stu and Danielle, founders of the Westen Wellness Yoga Centre. What we'd like to do in this short film is to take you on a bit of a journey, the backstory as to why we have been supporting the Luang Prabang Orphanage Nursery School. We've been helping them now for the last 12 months or so, and we've just gone on a recent journey to allow us to look at ways in which we can increase our support. But before we do, we want to share with you our previous journey in January of this year and to explain a bit about why we've chosen to support the school. Danielle's going to take us through the backstory.
In 2023, Stuart and I decided that we wanted to visit Laos, and being one of the poorest countries in the world, I started to look into how we could get back and support the community there. We were visiting Luang Prabang, which is an absolutely beautiful town full of rich culture and history and the beautiful Lao people. And as we started to look into how we could support, I stumbled across the Luang Prabang Orphanage School, which was run by an Australian and founded by an Australian, Andrew Brown. And the more I looked into it, the more I realised that we could really make a significant difference and contribution to the children who lived at the orphanage school and give them a better chance at life. Being parents with a 7-year-old and one on the way, and being fortunate enough to be in Australia, our kids have every opportunity. They have access to schooling, healthcare, if they want for nothing. And these are some of the poorest children in the world, and the Luang Prabang Orphanage School gives them a chance at life. Really goes in to be able to help support them and the local villagers in the community. So when we went there, we visited the school and realized that we could really make a difference and contribute. And we're really passionate about this cause, and we'd like to share that with you as well.
So what we want you to watch now is a short film of our visit that we made in early January 2024. And this is really about transparency. Dan and I wanted to satisfy ourselves that Andrew Brown and his organisation was certainly credible, and we can confirm that it is. And we wanted to see for ourselves what was going on and what the real needs were, and also what were Andrew's long-term objectives with the school. So we're going to take you on that journey now. Now, it was recorded by us. We didn't know what we'll be using that footage for when we recorded it, so you're going to see some pretty raw footage of our visit to the school, also with our son Hugo. We want you to watch that so you can see exactly how the orphanage operates, and that will give you a bit of a taste tester if you're considering to help us in our support journey with the Luang Prabang Orphanage School. We'll talk a bit more about at the end of this film about our Giving is Living yoga retreat, but we want you to see for yourself what's going on. So enjoy the short film now.
Yeah, we were talking with another Aussie I guess if we go to Thailand, they have to go.
Hello.
Getting this approved is literally American.
What's your name? My name's Stu. Nice to meet you. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? Hi. I'm Stu. Nice to meet you. Hello. I'm Stu.
Proud of them.
Yeah. That's it. That's you. That's you. I'll show you. Oh, you can see yourself, can't you? Yeah. There we go. Hi. You can see yourself.
You're getting on.
Chubby.
Hello, cutie.
Look at that. Hey? Look at that. Big tummy. What's that? They all had chicken pox not long ago.
Ah, okay.
One thing you notice with kids from malnourished backgrounds is that chicken pox, they all got infections badly.
What language do they speak if they don't? Is it a tribal language or?
The three tribes in Lao which tend to live in cities, Khmer and Hmong are hill tribe villages.
Yep.
The Hmong have the biggest problems because they live the most remote.
Yes.
They also animists, so they believe in spirits.
Yep.
So when we're trying to treat them medically, they go, "Oh no, it's a spirit."
Oh, that's right. They go to the shaman.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah, we did a tour with an ex-monk the other day who came. His tribe is animalism, and he was telling us, the differences between it. And,
the history of Hmongs in Laos is a very difficult one, and it's always been political. And the trouble for me is they have very big families in remote areas with no hospital services, and they don't understand the first thing about health. So we often go to Moong Village and find kids in horrible situations, and they go, oh, that's the way it is. They go, they need to go to hospital, and they need to be treated. And that's really hard because the young kids who live in the city, even if their parents are poor, they can get to a hospital and get treated. You know, simple antibiotic solves a lot of problems. But in remote areas, they don't do that. So when we bring Hmong kids here, they only speak Hmong if they're a bit older, and we have to train them in Lao.
Lao, okay.
So most of these kids would be from the rural villages?
All of them. There's one from close to Luang Prabang, the new baby. Some of them are 7, 8, 9, 10 hours away.
Wow, okay.
When you look at how poverty is dispersed throughout the countryside, remoteness is probably the biggest indicator. And culture's almost up there with it. I'd say, obviously, from my experience, the Hmongs have many more problems because they have big families, they're all broke, they live off the land. When the crops go wrong, they live destitute. And the infant mortality in Laos is incredibly high. At least 10 times more than in the West.
It would be,
Probably 20 times.
No birthing services or support or...
We do birthing services, so we support villages, and any woman in a village, we say, if you go to a hospital, we'll pay everything. And we send them home with a little bit of money. Because culturally, they prefer to birth at home.
Of course.
Yes, understand.
Of course, that's why there's so many orphans. Things go wrong and the mother dies or the kid dies. Or both. So that side of things is frustrating. To us, it's just standard. The way we live, you birth in a hospital, but not here. It's really frustrating. We can bring the kids in ourselves, so if we find orphan kids in remote areas, we can actually bring them ourselves.
And Dan was telling me is that how you get most of your intake or referrals? Or?
Probably a third of our intake to the orphan school is through us. The other 2/3 is through the government. Not really striving to bring in a lot. So we get about 400 now. There should be 550 or 600 at full capacity. Systems I have. Because this is a sort of, because it's my project, I can sort of provide everything we need. The main thing I need is sponsors, because COVID screwed things up a lot. We couldn't, before COVID, we opened in 2019, so at that stage, without COVID, I expected I'd meet people who be able to get sponsors and things like that. But when COVID came, that screwed things up quite badly. It meant we could bring in less kids because the whole country was shut, but also meant that we could meet sponsors and that sort of... but I'm not poor, so I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. So when I sold the hotel, I had enough funds to take care of my family and that. What I've done with this is probably half the funds are mine, which go into it, and over time we have to meet sponsors where we can cover it. I'm okay doing that short term, but long term, if I go broke, I sort of I lose. I can't fix things the way I am now. So over the next few years, I'll hopefully meet some more sponsors. If we get up to 65, which will be about the capacity, that'll be probably, at that stage, will be about 80,000 each.
Okay, so sponsors for these kids. Get sponsors.
How many sponsors do you need?
What I thought might be the easiest way was to cost it out per child. So when we have a child here, we don't just give the money for the child. Obviously, it's a big part of it, but we have to pay for all the staff as well, and all the staff food and all the kids' food. To have a child here for a whole year costs about $1,500 US dollars. But that doesn't just go to the kid; it goes to pay salaries and things.
The whole aggregate.
And I think compared to what the cost in Australia,
it's nothing.
Probably a 20th. Maybe. The cost per child is only what I've set out thinking. It helps people encapsulate what their funds go to. What I've learned over 15 years is if people sometimes give you money, say do whatever you want, and you say no, I want you to and me to agree where we're going to put it. That way you can send them meaningful feedback.
Absolutely.
And that sort of sustains the whole thing, because if you don't do that, people who visit me and see the project tend to stay long term. People who haven't met me or don't quite understand it tend to come in and out fairly quickly.
There's no buying.
That's natural. So having people say, okay, if you want to donate, that's fine, but I want to put it to something that's, you know, like your milk and your shoes. That's something we need all the time.
So this is a nursery or the?
So these are classrooms. So what we did is built toilets and showers, put in fans. This is the way they want to sleep. So we don't try to make it a Western style thing. We try to keep it by Laos standards. So I'll sleep here with mattresses, got a playpen here. This room's a classroom, little kids can sleep here as well. It's all dirt based, but it's pretty good. Most remote villages have a primary school, but they don't have year 1 to 5 and 2 classrooms. So sometimes it's so massive, it just takes a very relaxed lifestyle. And it's really fun. So when you look at why things are so bad, you've got one problem compounded by the second problem, compounded by the third, fourth and fifth. It just goes on and on. Let's go at the back.
Oh, here's all the children?
And my staff's updating this, which is great. Normally they do it once and they leave it so you get all these old photos. But there's 33 kids here now, so they haven't done it for a while. But they're very, very dedicated. So we just realistic. We want to stand it up here. We're never going to get there. We have to accept to stand here. And we have to work really hard actually just to keep it here. With inflation and salaries have been a big issue lately because obviously the salary we were paying them 2 years ago now buys them hardly anything. So we're always adjusting salaries. Tomorrow I'm going to meet with all the teachers and adjust them up again for the third time in like 4 months.
But then that means you keep them and...
Hopefully, the reality is we've got one teacher here for 4 years and another 2 for 2 years, and that's a good result. Ideally, you'd have teachers here that can live it, but these women live with the kids. Imagine that. They're not their kids either, and I fully understand how difficult it must be that your whole life's with these kids. That I couldn't do it. And Lara and I, my wife, we come here, we can spend 2 hours, no problem. But not 2 or 3 days, and sleeping with them, and waking up with them. Imagine that.
It's a lot to do.
Do they have their own children as well, some of the teachers? Or?
No. Anyone who has their own children wouldn't be able to work here.
They're just too split in their time.
And, well, the mothers tend to either work and like sell things in the market or something like that, and then go home, or these girls are all single and they can sort of handle a few kids for a while, but we've got to try to manage it. So when they have a day off, we say, please get the hell out of here. Don't just sit upstairs and near the kids. You just go and clear your mind, because keeping staff long term is really important to us.
Is it hard to build stuff here?
It's very, it's a part of living in Laos. It's not a part of life that I like. So we do classes here and we do some sleeping in there. We've got lots of milk in here.
Oh, cool.
So all the milk for the villages we store here. This milk we give to the orphanage, so this is your milk.
Oh, wow.
We give 9 boxes a week, but we don't buy 9 boxes every week. This milk is 12% fat. We'd never drink it in Australia.
Do the kids drink it?
Yeah,
they like it?
straight down.
Oh, all right. Well,
it's a real treat.
Oh, good.
The reason we give it to the villagers is they never get any nutritious food. So a village kid whose parents are rice farmers get rice and maybe a little bit of vegetable. And the incidence of malnourishment in remote areas is incredibly high. One of the hardest things with the medical side of things, if you get a kid who's malnourished, their chances of surviving just a moderate disease are 500% worse than a healthy kid. And kids who are born and the mother's got no breast milk in a remote area and they start on rice, automatically their digestive system's screwed for life. Their immune system's right down the bottom. As soon as they get sick, a lot of them die. So it's a big issue. It's not a Lao issue, it's a third world country issue. It's very frustrating. So we give eggs and milk, 2 eggs and 2 boxes of milk to every kid in all our villages every 2 weeks. It's not as much as we need to give, but the logistics of actually getting at least that much, and we have to cook the eggs as well. So We cook about 30,000 eggs every month. It's a lot of eggs, but if we don't do that, the parents would try and sell them or something stupid. So with a cooked egg, the kid gets it.
They'll eat it. Right,
okay.
yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And look, that's just how it is. That's just how it works. That's how you got to manage, right? I guess.
Yes.
What about if there was like foreign workers volunteering to help out in the nursery school? You know, some people I don't know how long you could stay here. Is there a limit, 3 months or 6 months?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of doing that because we need extra eyes in terms of running things exactly the way we want. As I said, we're not going to get there, but having extra eyes to say, this isn't quite right and that's not right, and this is what I noticed from a foreign perspective is something I'm much more open to now. When we opened, the government wouldn't even let us, but I've got sponsors who I've known for years and I can trust 100%, who I'm quite happy to come here.
Yeah.
People I've never met, that's a real...
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of kids get sold over the border by their families.
So to Vietnam and
Cambodia, Thailand, probably Myanmar, a bit different. So we bought at China, and China of course. So China, Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, what else did I say?
Thailand?
Thailand, yeah, 5. But we bought 5 countries, and all the border towns have the same issues.
Yeah. Wow.
Look, I know one of my staff, her niece was sold by her father. She's single. Your parents are selling their kids. What hope have you got?
Yeah.
And that's not uncommon. But we're lucky in Luang Prabang. The quickest way out's by plane, and there's no one comes here for sex tourism. There's none here.
Yeah, good.
I'm not saying there's no prostitution, but it's a local sort of level. I don't think if you're a pedophile you wouldn't come here, and it's a real blessing for me because with the fairly open lifestyle they have, it's kids come and go and it's surprisingly safe.
Yeah.
But you couldn't let this happen in Australia because it'd just fall apart in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And then if they do go home, is it because they're still in contact with their families here, and then or do they just go back to their village?
They'll stay here. The families, occasionally someone from a family might visit.
Okay.
We actually, if there's a surviving parent or a relative, we let them visit their kid at the nursery.
Yeah, right.
Because one of the big concerns they have at the start is they don't know about the nursery. And they say, well, what happens to our kids? We never see them. You say, no, they're in Luang Prabang, in our facility. You can come and visit.
Yeah.
And that sort of alleviates a lot of the initial fears of them saying, well,
of course.
Yeah. Once they see it, they think, oh, this is great. The kids are well cared for. And occasionally you get a relative or a surviving parent wanting to take the kids back.
Yeah.
And we've got a fairly strict process. We try to make sure they want to give them at the start. What we don't want to do is take kids if they don't want to give them.
Of course.
If they can actually keep them at home, that's good.
Yeah, well, they're with their family, of course.
Yeah, it's better, but when you see how destitute they are, they don't always have that option. Hey, Ning? This girl, Ning, her story is horrible.
In the pink or the...
Yeah, she's not 100% Nike, but her both parents died and they probably would have killed her in the village. So her relative found her. So what I tried to get her out of the village, because the village was a bit crazy. And they kept her in a house repaid for 3 months, then we brought her here. It took that long to get all the paperwork done. It's a little frustrating. We now have a special clause in our agreement with the government. If someone's in immediate danger, we can take them.
Yeah.
And because if you wait for the government to act, they're dead.
It's too late. Yeah.
Pretty far away.
How many meals a day do they get here?
With the government funds, they get lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
I provide breakfast and provide meat and eggs and that for with their lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
We tried not to give food every day because if you do that, they say, oh, they're doing all that, we don't have to do anything. So we try to add a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
So
is there 2 beds? So...
Normally I don't build like this when I do dorms. These 2 weren't mine. Because these used to be the oldest, most hideous dorms. And I was always repairing them, always painting them. But they had long flat beds in because a lot of kids all sleep in one big bed. So you go to a Hmong family, they'll have 10 kids in one bed. But it'll be like 3 of these together and they all just sleep together.
Yeah, right.
when foreigners come in, they say, oh, let's make an individual bed and that, but they don't really want that.
Yeah, that's culturally, it's not what they do.
Yeah, you'll find two kids will go together on one bed. Particularly when it gets cold, it's a lot more.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
So this is new and it's tiled and it's actually quite good. Like I say, the beds I probably wouldn't do this way, but it's quite okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought kids want nothing.
This is a really nice part of the orphanage. So the orphanage doesn't buy vegetables, they don't have funds.
Yeah.
We help with some things, I sometimes buy seeds.
Yeah.
But they do all this.
Yeah.
And the kids all have their own plot and they sell it back to the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Numbuk School we've done a similar program, much bigger scale. And it works just as well. Our biggest concern is all the young kids swim there. We get so many ear infections.
Yeah.
On the infection, they do a lot of ear flushing, and I've got my own nurse now, so she tends to manage a lot of that. Yeah, it's really frustrating. We had one kid, every time I saw him he had pus oozing out of his ear, every time. And we constantly send him to the hospital and get it cleaned, but it just wouldn't.
Do you need like grommets or something?
We considered that, but here it's a bit more difficult. My doctor actually still recommended that, but in the end, in Laos these things don't work. You need some sort of level of hygiene and things like that. And he was quite young and had very perforated eardrums, which never really fixed. He'll probably be basically deaf for a lot of his life. It's disaster management.
Yeah.
But throughout the year, once we get that under control, we can manage the scabies and that just with local treatments.
Yeah.
We're realistic, we just don't try to eradicate these things.
Yeah.
But one of the problems we see a lot are anemia, which is from malnutrition.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's congenital, so we've got a couple of babies in villages that they're 5 months old and already have anemia, so you think that's a more serious thing than someone who develops it simply through lack of diet.
Yeah. That came from postman baby, I'm not sure.
So come and have a look. During the holidays, so Monday to Friday, I give breakfast, they give their rice, and we give pork and whatever. They get 3 meals a week, but on Saturday and Sunday and holidays, I only give them rice and a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Now, small kids often just buy lollies,
Yeah.
money, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
Hello, somebody.
But there's not much money. It might be, now it's only worth 10 cents.
Yeah.
So you can't buy much anyway.
Yeah.
So they'll go to the
So on the school holidays,
kitchen where we're going next and get all this. And they'll... Any Jalsu you say? Mihan? You say? You put the cable. Oh, lao ao hai. Flang ao hai. So someone actually gave them that food today.
Oh,
but the rice is cooked every 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock. This girl's Jade, she's from our nursery too. She's really bright. Trouble is she comes here, education levels. At the nursery we can teach them properly in small classes and teach them the way you should.
Somebody.
Yep.
Occasionally we do special meals for them like to help young for breakfast. Patience system's so low because trying to learn.
And you're hungry.
Can't learn when you're hungry, that's for sure.
No, it's tough. Yeah.
Andrew, tell us a bit about what brought you to Laos.
I first came to Laos in 2006 on a holiday and I really liked the country. Spent about a week here and looked around. It was very peaceful and it was a good place to maybe potentially do a business. So when I went back to Australia, I spoke to my sister and brother-in-law and we decided maybe opening a hotel would be something that could be successful over here. So I came back in 2007 and for about 1 year we built the hotel and opened Lotus Villa in 2007, and from that I was able to look into doing humanitarian projects.
Andrew, tell us a little bit about your family. You've got family here in Laos?
Yes, I'm married to a Lao girl. Her name's La. We've been married for 10 years now. I've got 2 beautiful boys, 9 and 7 years old, and we live not far from here, which is handy because we come here a lot. Having my own children was wonderful because helping children and understanding their needs on a personal level, really helped me sort of understand what we needed to do to help those children in more remote areas that didn't have people supporting them. So it's been wonderful to have a Lao wife and 2 boys. I think it's a pretty good life to be over here, having a family and being able to help all the kids who aren't as lucky as my boys.
So Andrew, tell us a bit about what got you into humanitarian work here in Laos.
Well, when I started building the hotel, I was very much aware I was in a third world country, and I knew there'd be a lot of people who probably needed support. But like most foreigners, you certainly don't know where to look or how to find them. So I asked my staff if they knew anyone or any places that needed support. And after a while, one of my staff came back and said she knew the teacher at the orphanage school. So we came out and had a look, and back then the orphanage school was very dilapidated. They had about 400 kids, and things were quite grim back then. The government supported them with $87 per child per month. The infrastructure was poor. They had a very spasmodic water supply and barely enough food to feed the kids. So it was a bit of a sad place, but I knew hopefully if my hotel was successful, I'd be able to start helping them on a bigger scale. So I started a simple food program with my own money, and over time I met enough people who were staying at Lotusville who wanted to help more. So we were able to start from just eggs and some milk and bread in the morning to a fairly robust food program over the next 2 to 3 years.
And tell us, what are the current needs and challenges of the orphanage, and what are the plans and projects moving forward?
We hope to continue to bring more and more kids into the orphanage school. At the moment we have about 400. I think the capacities are upward of 500. And we know in remote areas there's a lot of kids that do need support. But getting to the very remote areas where they need the most support is actually very difficult. Often there's no roads and there's no telecommunications, so you sort of have to trek out into the middle of nowhere to find some of these remote villages. But we're working with the education department, so we hope to locate more children who need support and bring them into the orphanage school over the next few years. With the nursery school, we have 33 kids here at the moment. I think the capacity with our 2 buildings will be up to about 60 children, and once again we'll work with the remote officers who know the remote areas and villages better. If they can locate children, we'll facilitate bringing the children into the orphanage nursery.
So I hope you enjoyed that film and also that interview with Andrew Brown at the end of the film. It was quite impactful. It really did leave a huge impression on our family when we visited the orphanage school. Let me just briefly explain to you about how we're supporting them directly. So first of all, Westen Wellness funds the Milk and Shoes program. I'll put some imagery up now of that. And so that's where we provide really high fat content, really high rich milk to the children. That supports their digestive growth, particularly in their younger years. And we certainly support also the Shoes program as well. So what we've decided to do, coming back from this trip from Laos, is to create what we call the Giving is Living Yoga Retreat. Now, the name says it all. Giving is living. If we give, they live. It's just that transparent. And so what we've created is this beautiful 7-day immersive experience where you come and join Danielle and I in Laos, spending time working through yoga, meditation, yoga nidra, sound spas, beautiful, relaxed environment at the Hillside Eco Retreat, located about 15 minutes away from the orphanage. And you'll have a complete on-ground experience, including going to the orphanage and spending time with the children. And we're doing that because 40% of the retreat fee will fund directly to the orphanage. It costs around $1,500 US per child per year to look after a child at the orphanage. And your retreat fee will include around $1,500 Australian going into the orphanage. So not quite funding for a whole year, but certainly about 3/4 of it at least anyways. And that is a significant contribution that Andrew and his team need to help the orphanage to grow and thrive into the future. So if you're interested in finding out more about the Westen Wellness support programs, whether it's the Giving is Living program, the retreat series, or the sound spas that we run here at the studio, and 100% of the revenue from the sound spas go into the Milk and Shoes program, then just reach out directly. The information will be listed below. Otherwise, a warm-hearted thank you from Danielle and I for watching this film. If there's any questions, you know where to reach us. Thank you so much.